From the dawn of humanity, the sun has been more than just a celestial body. It has been our constant companion, a source of life, warmth, and energy. Its golden rays nourish our planet, driving photosynthesis and fueling the very existence of ecosystems. For millennia, we have basked in its glow, feeling its warmth on our skin, and witnessing its life-giving power. Ancient civilizations recognized the sun's importance, deifying it as a powerful god. The Egyptians had Ra, the Greeks worshipped Helios, and the Aztecs revered Huitzilopochtli. These cultures understood, even without the complexities of modern science, that their very survival depended on the sun's continued grace. Today we understand the sun's workings in greater scientific detail. We know it is a massive ball of superheated plasma, a giant nuclear furnace churning away millions of miles away. It is the gravitational anchor of our solar system, holding planets, asteroids, and comets in its sway. Our understanding of the sun has evolved, but our dependence on it remains as absolute as it was for our ancestors. Yet this benevolent star, the giver of life, also harbors a darker aspect, a potential for destructive power that could bring our technological civilization to its knees. This is the story of that power, the story of solar storms, and the potential threat they pose to our world. The sun, though seemingly constant in our sky, is a dynamic and often volatile entity. Beneath its brilliant surface, powerful forces are constantly at play. These forces can unleash bursts of energy and matter into the vast expanse of space, phenomena we call solar storms. These are not storms in the traditional sense with rain and wind, but rather eruptions of energy and magnetized particles that travel at incredible speeds. Solar storms manifest in several forms. Solar flares are intense bursts of radiation that can disrupt radio communications on Earth. Coronal mass ejections, or CMEs on the other hand, are massive eruptions of solar plasma and magnetic fields, capable of triggering geomagnetic storms upon reaching our planet. These storms are beautiful to behold, often causing stunning auroras in the night sky. However, beneath their beauty lies a hidden danger. When particularly intense, these geomagnetic storms can wreak havoc on our technology-dependent world. They can disrupt satellite operations, interfere with GPS navigation systems, and even knock out power grids, plunging entire cities into darkness. The potential for disruption is immense, and the consequences, particularly in our interconnected world, could be catastrophic. While scientists study and monitor solar activity, predicting these events with pinpoint accuracy remains a significant challenge. The sun, in its vastness and complexity, still holds many secrets that could have profound implications for the future of humanity. And history, as we shall see, offers us a stark reminder of the sun's awesome power. In September 1859, the world witnessed the raw power of the sun in an event that would forever be etched in the annals of history, the Carrington event, named after the English astronomer Richard Carrington who observed it. It was a solar storm of such colossal magnitude that it makes all other recorded events pale in comparison. During the event, telegraph systems, the cutting-edge technology of the time, went haywire. Sparks flew from telegraph wires, setting offices ablaze. Auroras, typically confined to polar regions, were visible as far south as the Caribbean and Hawaii, painting the night sky with surreal and vibrant hues. The impact on our relatively low-tech world of the 19th century was significant, but imagine the chaos if such an event were to occur today. Our world is far more reliant on technology, with intricate power grids, satellites orbiting overhead, and a global communication network that dictates the rhythm of our lives. A Carrington-level event today could cripple our infrastructure, plunging us into a world without electricity, internet, or communication. The Carrington event serves as a stark reminder of the immense power of the sun and the vulnerability of our technological civilization. It compels us to ask a critical question: are we prepared for the next big solar storm? To understand solar storms, we must examine their forces and mechanisms. Imagine a colossal explosion on the sun, releasing energy like billions of atomic bombs. A solar flare travels at light speed, reaching Earth in 8 minutes. CMEs pose the most significant threat to our technology. Picture 1 billion tons of plasma hurtling through space. When a CME collides with Earth's magnetic field, the consequences can be catastrophic. Earth's magnetic field usually protects us, but a CME can distort it, inducing electric currents in power grids. These currents can cause blackouts, plunging regions into darkness. Our technological dependence makes us vulnerable. The more interconnected our systems, the more susceptible they are. The true extent of our vulnerability is alarming. Section 2. When technology fails, the vulnerability of our infrastructure. Our modern world is intricately woven with technology, a delicate web of interconnected systems. We navigate with GPS, communicate through satellites, and power our homes with electricity. Yet this technological marvel is also our Achilles heel, vulnerable to solar flares. Power grids, designed for efficiency, are susceptible to geomagnetic storms. Induced currents can overwhelm transformers, leading to cascading failures. Transformers can be permanently damaged, blacking out entire regions. Our communication systems are also at risk. Satellites are vulnerable to charged particles from CMEs. These particles can disrupt communication signals and GPS navigation. The internet, the backbone of our digital age, is also at risk. Undersea cables carrying vast amounts of data are susceptible to disruptions. A major storm could sever these digital lifelines, disrupting global communication. The potential for disruption is staggering. Our transportation, financial markets, and healthcare facilities rely on these systems. A major solar storm could bring these systems to their knees, plunging our world into chaos. Section 3. The domino effect. Cascading failures in a connected world. The true danger of a major solar storm lies not just in the initial impact on individual systems, but in the ripple effect, the cascading failures that can cripple an interconnected world. Imagine a major CME striking Earth, inducing powerful currents that overload power grids. Cities go dark, plunging millions into darkness. Traffic lights go out, transportation grinds to a halt, and communication systems fail, leaving people isolated and afraid. But the consequences go far beyond inconvenience. Hospitals reliant on backup generators struggle to maintain essential services. Patients on life support face dire circumstances as power dwindles. Water treatment plants shut down, threatening sanitation and public health. Food spoils in darkened supermarkets and supply chains break down, leading to shortages and price spikes. As days turn into weeks, the delicate fabric of society begins to unravel. Without electricity, internet, or communication, people lose access to information, essential services, and their livelihoods. Panic spreads, fueled by uncertainty and fear. Social order begins to collapse as desperation sets in, leading to looting, violence, and a breakdown of law and order. The interconnectedness that defines our modern world, our greatest strength, becomes our greatest weakness in the aftermath of a major solar storm. The domino effect of failures can cripple our ability to respond effectively, amplifying the consequences and pushing us towards a precipice of chaos. Section 4. The human cost, from inconvenience to catastrophe. While the technological and societal impacts of a major solar storm are staggering, it is the human cost that truly underscores the gravity of the threat. Beyond the inconvenience of power outages and communication blackouts lies a potential for human suffering on a massive scale. The elderly and the infirm, dependent on electricity for medical devices, face life-threatening situations. Hospitals, overwhelmed with patients and lacking essential resources, struggle to provide adequate care. Food and water shortages, exacerbated by supply chain disruptions, lead to malnutrition and dehydration, particularly among vulnerable populations. Sanitation systems fail, increasing the risk of disease outbreaks. The psychological toll of prolonged isolation, fear, and uncertainty takes its toll on mental health, leading to anxiety, depression, and social unrest. In a world unprepared for a major solar storm, the veneer of civilization can quickly fade, revealing the fragility of our social structures. The rule of law, often taken for granted, can crumble under the weight of widespread panic and desperation. Competition for dwindling resources can pit neighbor against neighbor, community against community, as survival becomes paramount. The potential for human suffering in the wake of a major solar storm is a stark reminder of our vulnerability, a call to action to prepare for a threat that could have far-reaching consequences for humanity. We must acknowledge the risks, invest in resilience, and develop strategies to mitigate the impact of these events for the sake of our technological civilization and the future of our species. The initial moments of the solar storm's impact are deceptively serene. The sun, seemingly oblivious to the havoc it has unleashed, continues its celestial journey across the sky. Then, without warning, the lights flicker. A collective gasp ripples through homes, offices, and bustling city streets as the familiar hum of electricity sputters and dies. People glance at their phones, expecting to see an alert, a notification, some explanation for this sudden interruption. Humanity is abruptly severed from the technological umbilical cord that has become its lifeline. People emerge from their homes, drawn by an instinctive need to connect, to share their bewilderment. As minutes turn into hours, the initial confusion morphs into a palpable sense of dread. The world, once abuzz with the constant chatter of communication, falls eerily silent. Telephones are rendered useless, their sleek surfaces reflecting only the growing anxiety in people's eyes. The internet, that vast repository of information and connection, becomes an unreachable oasis in a desert of digital silence. Families huddled together, their faces illuminated by the flickering glow of candles, are left to grapple with the terrifying unknown. With no way to contact loved ones who live or work far away, the agonizing torment of uncertainty takes root. Are they safe? Are they alone? Are they still alive? These unanswered questions echo through the hearts of millions, a symphony of silent anguish. News, once a constant stream of updates and analysis, is reduced to whispers and rumors, spreading through the darkness like wildfire. Without the grounding force of verified information, fear and paranoia fester. The fabric of society, already strained by the sudden disruption, begins to fray at the edges. In a world accustomed to instant connectivity, the sudden and complete severing of communication lines is more than just an inconvenience. It is a descent into a chilling new reality, a world where isolation reigns supreme and fear becomes the dominant currency. The collapse of the digital infrastructure brings with it a chilling realization. The money we have come to rely upon, the foundation of our global economy, is nothing more than a shared illusion, a fragile construct built on a foundation of ones and zeros. With ATMs transformed into useless hunks of metal and credit card readers rendered inert, access to funds becomes a distant memory. Bank doors, once symbols of security and prosperity, are now barricaded, guarded by armed personnel, their imposing facades unable to mask the growing sense of panic within. Those fortunate enough to have withdrawn cash before the blackout find themselves clinging to it as a lifeline, their wealth now measured in the dwindling stacks of paper. In the absence of a functioning financial system, the true nature of value is brutally redefined. Food, water, shelter, and security, these become the new currencies, the things people are willing to barter, to steal, and even to kill for. The delicate balance of supply and demand, once regulated by the invisible hand of the market, is shattered, replaced by a desperate scramble for survival. The collapse of the financial system is not just an economic crisis, it is a social earthquake, exposing the fault lines in our meticulously constructed world. It lays bare the fragility of our assumptions, the precarious nature of our interconnectedness, and the raw instincts that lie dormant beneath the surface of our civilized veneer. As days pass, the thin blue line separating order from chaos buckles. Law enforcement is overwhelmed, and darker human impulses surface. Looting becomes rampant, supermarkets are stripped bare, and violence becomes the language of the desperate. Gangs roam the streets, preying on the weak as the rule of law becomes a distant memory replaced by the law of the jungle. Even in the darkest times, the human spirit endures. Neighbors come together, sharing supplies and rediscovering human connection. Obsolete skills like gardening and carpentry become valuable. People find joy in simple interactions, sharing stories, songs, and laughter. The collapse of civilization presents an opportunity for rebirth, to forge new bonds and rediscover fundamental human values. The initial shock of the blackout gives way to hunger. Refrigerators stand silent, and pantry shelves are picked clean. The routine of grocery shopping becomes a distant memory. Hunger weakens the body and clouds the mind, dissolving community bonds. People hoard food and competition for resources intensifies, pitting neighbor against neighbor in a desperate struggle for survival. Clean water becomes a luxury. Without electricity, the network of pipes delivering water grinds to a halt. Bottled water disappears, and dehydration sets in, pushing individuals to the brink of collapse. The elderly and young are particularly vulnerable. The search for water becomes a daily obsession, but contaminated sources introduce waterborne illnesses, spreading quickly through weakened communities. In the vacuum of authority, warlords emerge. These leaders, driven by ambition and ruthlessness, command power through force and resources. Under warlords, civilization crumbles further. Justice is replaced by brutal pronouncements, and human rights are trampled. The rise of warlords is a stark reminder of the thin veneer of civilization and the dangers of unchecked power. Survivalists meet the challenges of the New World with determination. They stockpile supplies and develop new skills for self-sufficiency. Forming tight-knit communities, they share knowledge and resources, understanding that cooperation is key to survival. Motivated by love for their families, survivalists adapt and rebuild, demonstrating humanity's ability to overcome adversity. As years pass, the world becomes a patchwork of resilience and adaptation. Nature reclaims urban landscapes, and self-sufficient communities thrive. People learn to live without modern conveniences, but memories of the old world linger. Stories of the fall of civilization are passed down. The question remains, will humanity heed the lessons of the past or repeat the mistakes that led to its downfall? The future depends on our choices. The world, once interconnected by global trade, now faces brutal geopolitics. The land and its resources become paramount. Heartlands capable of sustaining populations become new centers of gravity. Nations are measured by access to arable land and fresh water. Old alliances crumble and treaties are rewritten in blood. The world reverts to primal competition for basic elements of life. Military might is reset in the new dark age. Skies once teeming with drones are empty, and command centers are dimly lit tombs. Generals rely on outdated maps and spotty communications. The fog of war descends, leveling the playing field. Victory is determined by ruthlessness, adaptability, and a willingness to exploit chaos, not by superior firepower. The specter of nuclear weapons looms. Communication links are severed and safeguards are fragile. The potential for miscalculation or desperation to unleash a nuclear holocaust is terrifyingly real. These weapons, symbols of a bygone era, remind us of the fragility of peace and the enduring power of fear. As the dust settles, a profound question remains. Will this be our epitaph or a new chapter in human history? The solar storm exposed the fragility of our systems and the consequences of our complacency. But amidst the ruins, hope endures. The choice is ours. Cling to the past or embrace the present challenges. The future is a blank page, and we have the opportunity to inscribe a new chapter in the human story.